me in, man. All right, I'll see you in a few.
Oh man, so surreal in the backstage with a bunch of wrestlers. So going back, so you felt honored to be in the ring with Kojima and such legends like Chono?
One of the things, with Chono has departed from New Japan.
Right.
He's with IGF now, so I haven't had the pleasure of meeting him. But for me, when I was in the Indies, sitting on my couch, you know, I used to study tapes of Japanese wrestling. And, you know, all of my heroes were Chris Jericho, William Regal, Eddie Guerrero, Dean Malenko, the late Chris Benoit. All of these guys made their careers in Japan.
Yep.
And, you know, as the names I mentioned before, I was a huge fan of Kojima and Tenzan. You know? So for me, it's kind of weird because The Undertaker is a personal friend of mine. You know, I've worked with Cena, I've worked with, you know, I've worked with Shawn Michaels, Triple H, Undertaker, you know, all the top guys in the WWE. You know, I've wrestled Ric Flair at Madison Square Garden.
Yeah, you did.
And it's great. It's awesome, you know. So being in the locker room for the first time, you know, first time I saw Tenzan, you know, I got like a little kid. Tenzan. Oh, man. And it's so funny because, you know, to the guys in New Japan coming in from WWE and the run that I had there, I'm a huge international star. To me, those guys are legends. So when I come in and I'm asking them, hey man, can we take a picture together? They go, you big superstar. I'm like, nah, you know, so it's you know, it's humbling for me, but I think it also surprises them when I know who they are, and I know their moves, and I know their career, and I know their signature things. So I think that really allows them to know how sincere I am, because no disrespect to any of the other gaijin, but I didn't get released from the WWE and then go to Japan looking for work. I asked to be released from the WWE with an intention of going to Japan.
So then, going back, and look who's there. Bad intentions, baby. Bad intentions.
I'm back with Rich. I'm sorry.
Oh, you're all set?
Yeah. I'm going back with my cousin. Oh man, I'm sorry. I thought
You're all set.
Yeah, I'm good.
Hey, we'll see you tomorrow, Bernard.
You gonna hit the bar?
Yeah, absolutely.
I got a tab open that you got.
Oh, damn. What's it like drinking with Giant Bernard?
Oh, he can put him away, man. He's a big guy.
Have you guys hit up the Red Light District in Japan on any tours? Drinking with Bernard and Machine Gun or any of the other gaijin?
We hung out in Shibuya.
Shibuya?
We haven't hit up Roppongi. I mean, I've been to Roppongi.
Roppongi? Oh, Roppongi's amazing.
When we get together, we usually hit up Shibuya, we'll have dinner, we'll do a little drinking.
So, going back to with the locker room atmosphere, so what do you feel was like the biggest difference initially when you stepped into the New Japan locker room compared to when you were stepping into the WWE locker room? Is there a difference in atmosphere?
Yeah, there is a difference because just different cultures. When I first stepped into the WWE locker room, I was a young guy,
right?
You know, and I had to come in and prove myself. Even though I was fortunate to have people like Chris Benoit, who took me under his wing, and Undertaker, who also took me under his wing, Booker T. I mean, some established guys, took me under their wing. I had to prove all over again, well, not all over again. I had to prove that, I could carry my weight. And once I did that, I was accepted by them as a peer. Coming into New Japan, I came in as an established star. But I still felt personally that I had to show them that I could do it. I wasn't resting on my laurels. And culturally, it's different. The attitude. For example, in WWE, when the young guys finish their match, they're done.
Right.
And New Japan Pro Wrestling, when the young guys finish a match, they come to the locker room and they thank everybody, for the honor of being allowed to be on the show. There's no sense of entitlement, and that's not a shot at any of the young guys from WWE, but it's just different. In New Japan, you have to go through the dojo system, and you have to pay years of dues to get an opportunity to get on that bottom rung. And in the WWE, the business model now, it's not wrestling anymore. It's television.
It's entertainment.
Yeah, it's entertainment, and they're recruiting TV stars.
Right.
So there's not the same level of respect and passion for the craft because it's just not necessary.
Now, so big question, because you tend to embody both sides. I mean, you're obviously charismatic, an entertainer, but you're also very athletically gifted and talented.
Thank you.
So was that one of the reasons you thought about leaving WWE, because of that slow shift now into the entertainment world? Or
I'm not a soap opera actor.
yeah.
I'm a professional wrestler.
So you feel a lot better being in a system, like you said with New Japan, where it seems like talent and skill are carried a little bit higher than entertainment.
The WWE product now is Vince McMahon has declared it's not wrestling. There's no emphasis on wrestling. He doesn't want pro wrestling. He wants a primetime soap opera, action, drama. I forget the terminology they're using. I wanted to be a professional wrestler. I mean, at some point, yeah, I'd like to act. I'd like to do some movies. But, when I get in the ring, I want to go out there and have a 15, 20-minute match where skill matters. I want to go out there and work with somebody who's as passionate as I am. My new T-shirt just came out.
Oh, hey.
Ghetto Strong Style.
There you go.
And
You
on
can
the
get it
sleeve,
online.
It says
Puroresu.
Pro
There it
wrestling.
is. There it
And like I
is.
said, it's not a knock on the WWE.
Right.
That's what they want to do, and it's great for them. But it's not what I want to do. Now I'm doing what I want to do, and that's wrestle professionally in Japan.
I just want to take a moment just to shoot at Low-Ki, because I thought that'd be perfect timing. A guy, again, bodies talent and skill, and saw how the WWE treated him. But
What's mistaken nowadays is the lack of trust for guys who take pride in their craft. And there's few and far between nowadays, because everyone thinks that you can get a crash course and be successful in this craft. It's not the way it works.
yeah, because you guys, both of you, took years in the independent scene. I know, especially Low-Ki. I mean, I was watching you since 2000. You definitely took years to get up there. So,
I'm one of the last men actively performing who's wrestled in 3 different decades.
and that's impressive alone.
90s, 2000s, and now this decade.
Still doing it because of the love of the craft, right?
I'm passionate about my art.
And that's it right there.
MVP as well embodies people who take pride in their craft. It's unfortunate, because the guys who really want to see them succeed because they're driven by the love of their craft and they're skilled at it, and they show a higher level of skill than the people who actually are rewarded, it's discerning to a lot of people. And it's to me, I feel it's insulting to their intelligence. You mentioned it earlier this week. People want to see something, but they're told what they should be seeing. And that's a fine line that you have to be careful with. Because the interest of the customer, just like any other business, sometimes it's very difficult to get it back.
There you go. Now, going back on that with the customer thing. Oh, did you need to speak to MVP or anything?
No, I just want to find out what you're doing now.
I'm going to head back to the Ramada. I think the bar is going to be open there soon. Just have a few drinks in there. What you got planned?
No, I just got the ride. Head back.
Okay. Rich didn't leave yet, right?
I haven't gone out there, so I don't know.
Yeah, because I'm going to ride back with him. I don't know if he knows it, but...
I'm going to go
Well, we'll wrap this up. Let's quickly go.
We'll
Okay.
go with time.
Well, going back, so going to the culture again, how did you feel? Everybody knows who's been a fan of Japanese wrestling that the Japanese fans are much different than the American fans. So did that, I know because you studied Japanese tapes, you came to understand that, but did that kind of come as a shock, or were you as prepared as you thought you would be when you first stepped into the ring in front of a Japanese crowd?
Like you said, I don't even know if you can put a number on how many hours I've spent watching Japanese wrestling tapes. Countless hours. New Japan, All Japan, FMW, UWF. So much of it that I understood how the Japanese crowds respond. And one of the highest compliments that I've been paid in and I've been paid some pretty cool compliments by some legendary people, but one of the coolest compliments is after one of my matches, none other than Jushin Thunder Liger made the comment that my wrestling style and timing was very Japanese.
Oh, yeah.
To me, that's the highest honor, from a Hall of Famer. And so I knew, I'm familiar with the strong style, and I understand their psychology. And I understand, how the Japanese fans are. And I used to say in the WWE locker room all the time that before I hung my boots up, before I finished my career, at least once I wanted to hear, "Oh." And now I've had the pleasure of hearing it a number of times.
Right.
And I hope to continue to hear it for quite some time. So.
That's awesome. So, I know some fans would be curious. Is it difficult to work with Japanese wrestlers? Is there a language barrier there? Do you know?
They speak
you know,
wrestling.
they speak wrestling.
They speak
So it's like math, where it's everybody.
It's international. And, you know, again, one of the things that makes it easier for me to work with a lot of these guys is I know what they do. I'm familiar with their moveset. You know, wherever there is an issue of language, it's easy enough to handle because there are enough guys that do speak English. Shinsuke speaks English, Tanahashi speaks English, Gato speaks English.
Yeah.
And a bunch of the guys speak, at least some functional English. And I'm working on my Japanese. My goal is to have a VIP lounge in Japan.
Oh, there you
in
go.
Japanese.
There you go.
I want to see how that works out. But I'm working on it. I got my Rosetta Stone. So.
So then, so there's no division in the locker room then, like Gaijins on one side, Shoeborns on one side. No, guys get along.
There's no private locker rooms. There's no, no single superstar dressing by himself. There's no, the funny thing is, there's no ego, none whatsoever. The young guys dress separately, but that's just a matter of hierarchy. It's the culture.
Right.
But you dress where everyone is pretty much on the same level in terms of respect. And one of the cool things that I really like about Japan is the respect for the craft. In Japan, the fans know that wrestling is entertainment, but it's still treated like a sport.
Yes.
And we'll use the WWE. With all due respect to the guys there, nowadays the title is a prop because it's a television show. In Japan, the title still has a tremendous measure of respect. Whatever title it is, if you're a title holder, that carries weight with it. And it's one of those things where the IWGP title it's numbered how many champions and who has carried that title. On the junior title, every person that's ever carried that title has a bracket.
Really?
On the title.
I didn't know that.
Every junior champion, from the first to the current, has a bracket.
So they have like a dozen Liger ones.
Well, I think your name. I think they just add the years to it.
Got it. When
a new person holds it,
there's a new one. Interesting.
And that's the significance for me of the IWGP Intercontinental title.
There you go.
Because if I win in this tournament, then I become the first generation IWGP Intercontinental title holder, the first ever. And to me, that's huge because that's history. You're in the record books. I'm very proud of the fact that I'm still the longest reigning United States champion in WWE.
Yeah,
history.
you are.
I think top 5 overall. And if I can capture the IWGP Intercontinental title, then one more time I'm in the books. And I'm pretty proud of that. To me, that still means something. What was that internet YouTube viral thing? It's still real to me, damn it.
And of course, that would just be a stepping stone to the even bigger prize, the IWGP Heavyweight title.
I've made it very clear. I intend to capture the IWGP Intercontinental title, and I will use that title run as an audition for my IWGP Heavyweight title run.
There you go.
And I think after I do that, I'll probably retire. I've done it all at that point. Everything I want to do anyway.
Right.
If I could be the IWGP champion and heavyweight champion and wrestle at the Tokyo Dome, at that point, I'm going to go ahead and cash in my chips and disappear.
And speaking of things to do before you retire, or if you had a chance, sticking with the Japanese legends, if there's a legend that you could think of, or even a person currently who you haven't wrestled in Japan, if some matchmaker had the ability to bring this person into the ring with you at the Tokyo Dome, who would you love to wrestle?
Wow. That's like asking you, if you could pick any hot chick at the max of 100, which one would you want to knock off?
Right.
First and foremost, just because he's one of my favorites, and then I just hold him in such high esteem. And, you know, Chono. I think he's, you know, just cumulative damage over the years.
Yeah.
I think he's stepped away from working, and but I love the tag with Chono. If Chono and I could become a faction, I could see us coming out rocking Aristus clothing.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I could definitely see you rocking the Arist. I mean, he's got style, and you got definitely suave and style that would fit that.
I think we probably work better as a team
than opponents.
But I mean, there's still got, you know, I still love to work with Kawada. I've stolen a lot of his stuff.
Yeah, I saw some vicious kicks you were doing out there.
Yeah. And even in the WWE, I tried to incorporate as much of the Japanese influence as I could in my style when I was allowed to.
And actually, that's a good question then. So, was there ever a point where they told you you can't do this, or you can't all the time?
All the time. All the time. You know, I used to use Chono's Shining Black finish for a while. People ask me all the time, why'd you stop using it?
Because they told
I
you.
was told not to. Don't use that finish anymore. The Playmaker finish. I didn't want that. I was given that finish.
Really?
Use it. And, okay, no problem. You know, I'm a good employee. You want me to use it? I'll use it. And you know, it's cool because I had the little Heisman pose with it.
Right.
But that wasn't the finish that I wanted to use, but I used it. And then when I came up with when I had enough tenure that I could change my finish, I started using the Shining Black, and I never even called it the drive-by. Somebody else dubbed it the drive-by. I don't know.
Just because it fit your image a little bit better, right?
But then one day I was pulled to the side and said, you know, this has been handed down. Don't do that anymore. And okay, so I did. You know, and as a matter of fact, again, I was doing Shelton's finish for a while. And I guess they dubbed that the play of the day.
The play of the day, right.
And it was right after Shelton got released. And again, I was told.
They actually gave you that finish.
Here's your new finish.
Huh.
So, yeah, I mean, it happens. And, you know, there's two ways to look at that. On the one hand, you know, I was never happy with that. But, you know, when you go to work, sometimes the boss gives you an assignment or responsibility. You don't necessarily want it, but you have a job to do, and you do it. As I said before, Vince has a vision for his product. And it's hard to argue with Vince's success. But what Vince's vision was doesn't fit with who I am right now and what I want to do. So we were able to shake hands as men and part on good terms. And he said the door is open for me to come back if I should ever want to return. And, you know, people ask me on Twitter and all the time, MVP, when you coming back? When you coming back? And I always say, never say never. You know, I missed the WWE Universe, and I had awesome fans. I got so much love and respect. And, even when I was put on the back burner, so to speak, I still got one of the best reactions every night from the crowd. You know, people ask. Here's the point I'd like to mention too.
Sure.
They always talk about, MVP, when they turned you babyface, that's when they killed you. WWE didn't turn me babyface. The audience did. Because when I went through that 22-week losing streak, I was losing every week. The cheers got louder, and it got to the point where they were cheering for me as a babyface. We never did a storyline to turn me. There was never any definitive moment where I became a babyface. Just every week the cheers got louder. We were on an overseas tour, and the heels kicked me off the heel bus and told me I had to ride on the babyface bus because I was getting such a huge babyface reaction from the crowd. So WWE never turned me heel. The WWE Universe did. And I regret that for whatever reason they decided not to really do anything with that. They never got behind me. They never gave me a run as a babyface. But, you know, I have no regrets, man. You know, I mean, if I could do a few things differently, I would. For the most part, I enjoyed my time with WWE. I had a blast. I made a lot of money. I traveled the world. I became a star. And, you know, people ask me, you know, are you angry? Are you bitter? No, I'm not at all. Because, first of all, you know, there was a time as an ex-convict that I couldn't get a minimum wage job because of my felony convictions. People wouldn't give me a chance to earn a living. Vince McMahon gave me an opportunity to earn millions and to entertain millions. And how could I ever be mad at him for that? It changed my life in a positive way. So there's no animosity at all. And when I asked to leave because I wanted to wrestle for New Japan, and I framed it up, and they said, okay, you know, that makes sense. Okay, cool. Shook hands, and they let me go. what's to be mad about? I'm not mad. I live a great lifestyle. I'm wrestling the way I want to wrestle, where I want to wrestle, and I'm happy.
So it sounds very much that you are at a point in your life where you're very content with where you're at.
I'm never content.
Ah.
I'm never content. I'm always moving upward and onward. There's never, to me, when you get content, it's time to give up. Stop living.
There you go.
I'm never satisfied. I always want to be better. I always want a little bit more. I always want to go a little further. I always want to know what's around that next corner. So, I mean, yeah, I'm very happy with my lot in life right now, but I'm not content. If I can beat Tanahashi for the IWGP heavyweight title at the Tokyo Dome,
there you go.
Then maybe we can talk about.
There you go.
But for the time being, I'm in a very happy place.
So right now, wrestling world is what you're conquering and trying to conquer now, New Japan. And I heard you have another endeavor that's coming around, a book that you're starting to write.
Yes.
How's that coming along?
It's in its earlier stages. I don't want to talk too much about it right now.
Okay.
I am working on an autobiography. I would like to have it out sometime early next year. Okay. I recently did a podcast with David Lagana, who's one of the former WWE writers. It's still available at I Want Wrestling. It was IWantWrestling.com, I think. And that podcast got so many positive reviews, and he said it shattered his records for any podcast. And a number of people said, I can't wait till your book comes out. So I figured it's about time. So hopefully I'll have that book out sometime early next year. And that book, that's one of the things also with WWE. I never wanted to put my book out because my life isn't PG. There's nothing PG about the life that I live. And when I put my book out, I don't want it to be an easy read. It's going to be very candid, very honest. It's going to talk about many of the tragedies of my life, many of the triumphs. And I'm not pulling any punches.
So it's going to deal with your upbringing, your past, everything, even up to the stuff when you left WWE in Japan now, or have we made a time period?
I'm not sure yet. I think a lot of that would have to do with the publisher and the editor and whatnot. And there's, like I said, it's still in its infancy. The decision's been made. It started, but it's just, like I said, I can't really talk that much about it now because there's still so much yet to be done. But just know that it's in the works. Yeah.
Great. Well, thank you very much for your time, MVP. Is there anything else you want to say to the fans that are going to be watching this interview?
Well, if you're watching this, that means that you are a fan of Puroresu.
Yes.
And you have that Puroresu spirit.
That's it. That's it.
I want to tell you how much I appreciate you listening to this interview. Please continue to support Puroresu. Tell all of your friends about Puroresu Spirit.
That's it.
Make sure you log in there all the time, get all the latest news, find out what's going on. Yeah, there you go. As a matter of fact, I'm going to go ahead and put this on one of my bags.
Yeah, take it. It's yours. That's it.
Puroresuspirit.com.
That's it. That's it. The tagline.
It's on my t-shirt. Puroresu Spirit. Puroresu.
True fan.
I am a fan.
A true fan.
I want to thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. No, thank you, sir, for your time. I appreciate it so much.
And you can follow me on Twitter. I'm at the 305 MVP. My website will be going up soon. I'm sorry I don't have that up yet. My t-shirts will be available soon.
And they're really great t-shirts.
Get a shot of the back.
Oh, there you go. That is nice. Look at that.
But thanks for coming through.
Thank you for your time. I appreciate it. Take care.
For you Japanese fans, I gotta hit you guys with this.
Ore wa dare da? Kokujin Gojira. Ah, Kokujin! That's it! That's